StackCast. We are here back for episode 13 with Aram, the cryptography consultant, or would you like to kind of introduce yourself and make sure I'm
getting... Sure. Yeah, hi Alexa, hi everyone. Thank you for inviting me today for StackCast. Yeah, I'm a cryptography advisor at Firo. I joined...
I like to call you a consultant for some reason.
Yeah, it's almost the same. Yeah, I've joined Firo maybe in 2018, so it's 5 years already. Time flies very fast. So I joined Firo as advisor and then kind of became part of the project, and the Firo became very important part of my life as well, because it was very, very interesting and innovative and fruitful kind of collaboration. And yeah, we will talk more about that.
Great. So do you want to spend a little bit of time talking about your journey into cryptography in the first place, and then from there, what brought you to Firo?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. I don't know how far should I go back, but let me start.
As far as you like.
Okay. The first thing in that case, what to mention is while studying in university, while doing my bachelor or master's, bachelor, I never heard about the word cryptography, basically. We didn't get cryptography classes, we didn't have cryptography lectures in my university. But in 2008, because of some political situation in Armenia, in my country, home country, it was tough period. There have been strikes on the streets between two political parties. 10 people have been killed during these strikes. I've been in my bachelor studies, I remember, and then I asked myself, like, is it possible to create like magical e voting system, which would ensure fair and democratic elections through technology, not leaving this to the political will of people or government who is organizing the election, but magical system, technology will enable this. And then I kind of figured out that that's a cryptography discipline that many famous cryptographers are working on. Many cryptographers and have worked and are still working on building cryptographic e-voting systems, which allow people to vote and then verify whether their votes have been compromised or not without revealing the vote or without breaking the privacy of their votes. And this I got very passionate about this and kind of get into scientific research to see how this problem is solved, what solutions are, and maybe came to some proprietary interesting solutions. That's how I came into cryptography. It has been 2008, and e-voting systems have been the subject of my PhD thesis.
And isn't there a country, remind me which one, if you know, that has already used kind of blockchain-based voting kind of, or had a trial of this? What country was that again?
Yes, I think Estonia is the leader.
Okay.
And Norway is following up as well. And after the George Bush, Al Gore election in US, I remember in 2001 maybe, or
2000,
maybe. Okay. That election spiked research in this discipline, and few states have been switched or experimented with different voting solutions. But Estonia has fully switched to e-voting, and Norway, if I'm not mistaken, Norway did that same as well.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of Norway.
Sorry?
Oh, I wasn't aware that Norway had a...
Yeah. I remember from my PhD research studies. Hope they are still doing that.
And then what kind of made you gravitate toward Firo? How did you become involved with the project in the first place?
Oh, after finishing my PhD in 2013 and before joining to Firo in 2018, during that 5 years, I started my own startup which again was related to cryptography. It was a data privacy, document privacy solution. We can build a document encryption and secure sharing solution to protect files in Dropbox or Google Drive or OneDrive, to encrypt them before your files are uploaded to this public cloud services. It was my first startup, my first entrepreneurial experience. It again was very interesting journey, but we have been building on very interesting and innovative cryptography technology. Like, I believe we have been the first company who tried to commercialize a particular public key cryptography scheme, which has been invented in MIT, but has never been used by any company in production. And we have been the first startup who realized the potential of this new technology and how well it is suited for modern cloud communication, unlike standard public key crypto. And so it was a great technology, but very bad business. So the startup has failed, and I was looking for another job because like the startup was still there, but I should kind of pay the bills. And a friend has referred me to Firo, formerly Zcoin. In 2018, it was named Zcoin. So I joined Zcoin as a cryptography advisor. That's how it's all started.
And the friend that introduced you to the project, was this friend also kind of involved on a more core level themselves?
He was a security engineer in Zcoin. Yeah.
Okay.
He has been hired by Ruben to Total, again, Armenian guy and a good friend of mine. And once he came to me telling, hey, Aram, I'm working with this company and they are looking for a cryptographer to do some research. Maybe you want to join? And I said, yes, absolutely. I need to pay bills now. I need an extra job now.
Very cool. So do you want to kind of jump into Firo now? I know our very first episode, we spoke with Ruben,
Okay.
project steward, but today our plan was to get a little bit more into some of the things that we didn't speak to Ruben about originally, and maybe things that maybe you might have a kind of unique perspective on. So did you want to kind of get into some of the technical sides of things a little bit here?
Okay, sure. Don't tell Ruben, but I haven't watched the interview with him. I'm not sure what has been covered there and what wasn't covered there, but yeah,
All right, we can repeat some stuff if necessary.
okay, so let me just tell them how we have started and where we went, and then you will ask more questions to get into details. So when I joined Zcoin, Zcoin was the first one of the first privacy coins. No, of course, Monero is the first, but Zcoin has been launched even before Zcash, and Zcoin has been running on a privacy payment protocol called ZeroCoin. ZeroCoin was a pioneer in this privacy payment protocols, but it was really non-efficient and not feature-rich protocol to enable financial privacy. It allowed only sender anonymity, but it couldn't hide transaction amounts, neither the recipient's identity. So it basically could only allow anonymity of transactions. Okay, and meantime, Zcash has got very popular already. Zcash technology, Snarks, has been very, very popular, and the DAL, like very promising technology. And the Zcoin kind of was running on ZeroCoin. He was not competitive anymore, any sense. And Ruben was looking on many different protocols to switch on, and we have been looking on bulletproofs. And I remember the first question Ruben asked me was evaluating whether bulletproof will allow like efficient transaction verification or not. So the question was quite simple. I should research bulletproofs and basically figure out how promising is it and how much we should invest on it, this technology or not. And I didn't make any cryptography research during the last few years because I was very busy with running my company. So I just started again reading these papers, like refreshing my mind, understanding a very complex math. It was not easy transition. I remember after 1 month, I told Robin that, hey, yeah, this sounds really promising. And everyone got excited because kind of we should find the solution for the next protocol. It was very important for the company futures in general. And after another month, I figured out that, oh gosh, this will not work. This really is not like, I didn't kind of understand it correctly or understand all the details, but now I'm sure that this will not work. And everyone has been disappointed. I even told Ruben that, hey, maybe I should return all money back and stop working. I felt very bad. But Ruben told me, oh no, Aram, I really want you to stay. And and I really like, let's just continue working. That was kind of the trust kind of was very motivating. And I remember it has played a role on motivation and excitement to work further. And after a few months, we have came to a unique original protocol called Lelantus, which could solve this privacy missing features of zero coin in a very efficient way. And that was like a game-changing moment, I think, because yeah, that's how Lelantus has been born in. I remember I joined Firo in April of 2018 or something, like after 2 months, maybe June, July, and in October we already have the first version of this new protocol.
So that was put together very quickly then.
Yeah, that's how good things have happened.
That's pretty
Because
impressive.
of Ruben's trust and Ruben's attitude.
And then would you mind explaining exactly how Lelantus works?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about Lelantus because later it has evolved to Lelantus Spark, which I assume is the next version of Lelantus, more complete, more features rich. But let's start from Lelantus. Lelantus is a privacy protocol who could enable not only sender anonymity, but it could also hide transaction amounts. And it could do that in a very efficient way, like the proof size with small proof sizes, quick verification times, and very efficient transaction generation times. It is based on a zero knowledge technology called one out of many proof. Now this one out of many proof became quite popular, and I believe like Lelantus has been instrumental to take other researchers' attention to this technology, and many other protocols have been built on this one out of many proofs, including the Monero's next generation protocol. But by the time no one was looking on this technology, everyone has been excited with the snarks and bulletproofs. Monero's original ring city technology was kind of considered to not be very competitive. Monero was a very competitive product, of course, in company, but the protocol was not competitive. And Lelantus was something between Monero's ring city and snark-based zero cash protocol because he could ensure much higher anonymity than ring city Monero's protocol, although less than zero cash. But he did it without relying on trusted setup like zero cash or being based on some exotic cryptography assumptions that zero cash is relying on. So we could efficiently scale the anonymity set to dozens of thousands while keeping the transaction sizes very small and verification time is very fast. After inventing the protocol, before making it public, I tried to reach out to the author of this one out of many protocol, which is Jens Groth. He's a very famous cryptographer, one of the top cryptographers probably.
And I'm sorry, what did you say his name was?
Jens Groth.
Okay.
Yes, correct. He's working in Affinity now, if I'm not mistaken. But by the time he was a professor in UCL, University College London, probably. Yeah, and Jens Kroth told me that, oh yeah, this works. It's really interesting and this works. And then we try to make it public. We have applied to present it during the ZK Summit in Berlin. This was the first appearance of ZK Summit. And after the talk, like next day, I've got an email from Aram, a cryptographer at Monero Research Lab by the time. Hey, Aram, I've seen this and this sounds very interesting. Can we talk more about this? Yeah, I'm pausing here to see if you have any specific questions or you want to go into technology in more detail or you just want to.
I'm assuming this is the same Aaron that we both are familiar with now.
Sorry?
I'm assuming this is the same Aaron we both know, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Aaron, yeah, Aaron, and like we had after that we had very like I think long term already 4 years collaboration experience with Aaron. We immediately started to collaborate with him, and this was one of the things I liked very much, how kind of this technology created collaboration between Firo and Monero, which have been kind of competing companies from different sides of the world. But yeah, we kind of became teamed up to work and worked and enhance the technology.
I like what you just said about these kind of two sort of competing projects, I guess, being able to kind of share talent in a way. You know, I personally see no issue with ensuring a little kind of healthy competition, and overall you end up with a better product and on both sides. So
Absolutely. That's not only very healthy, but also I believe that's the right way to move forward. And the best thing to just one of the best part of job in general, like collaborate with other smart people.
and then the relationship between Monero and Firo to this day, and kind of the individuals working on these different projects, is it still kind of pretty similar from your perspective, like a pretty respectful kind of relationship there? It seems to be.
Yeah, it is. I believe it is very respectful. Like we have been invited to MoneroCon this year as well, and we collaborate with many people like Aaron we continue collaborating with Aaron. Okay, Diego is not with Monero right anymore, but
No, not technically.
lots of different connection. Yeah, with Monero. The one particular thing which we kind of not became a problem, but I wish was a bit different, is the recent competition between protocols, next generation protocol of Monero and next generation protocol of Firo. Because personally, I think like this new protocol called Seraphis, which is kind of considered to be the next generation, like next version of Monero will switch to Seraphis. I think this Seraphis is basically kind of inspired, totally inspired, with just a few tweaks or changes. It basically duplicates Lelantus Spark. And it has a story behind it because initial Spark ideas have been shared with Go, the researcher, the author of Seraphis, while he was working on some generic framework of building privacy protocols, not on a concrete protocol. And the Spark was basically the main innovation of Spark. They are threefold basically, and all have been very important. The most important thing was enabling recipient privacy, because Lelantus didn't allow recipient privacy. He could he could ensure anonymity and confidential amount, but he kind of leaked whom you are sending the money to. And with this Spark, we solved this problem and solved in a very elegant way. while also ensuring that the addresses can be controlled by many parties. Like you can support multi-signature operations, you can have different levels of viewing and spending keys. So the wallet can be controlled by, for example, accountants can have only view access to the wallet, while the wallet owners can have full access. They can spend funds, or they can track how much funds are spent. This kind of very important features from the financial system perspective, but all have been enabled by like unique algorithms, which I have been working on maybe 1 year or 2 years. Like solving this recipient privacy issue was a real challenge, and these first ideas have been shared with Go, and then just a month later, maybe after the Spark has been published, but almost simultaneously. I don't remember already. Maybe I'm wrong here because it has been 2 years ago. But this Seraphis paper has been published, which basically not only Firo but many other people have considered. Like this is basically Lelantus Spark. Why you name it Seraphim? Like Beam people have thought the same way. Even Justin, like, yeah, I saw the tweet of Justin, like how these are very, very similar to each other. So I wish actually that we didn't have a situation when we have a very similar protocols just named differently.
I can see how there could be a little bit of friction around that.
Yeah, there was a little bit of friction, but anyway, that happens. That happens. I think the interesting thing is now we continue collaborate in some extent to improve Spark, or maybe even Seraphis in a particular direction. We are collaborating with Luke Partner, who is working on and incorporating a new evolved technology into our protocols, and we are collaborating on this side.
Interesting. And I guess this is kind of a good way to bridge into Lelantus Spark if you'd like to talk about the changes, I guess, upgrades being made to Lelantus that come with that and sort of what the differences are. Could you explain that?
Yeah. Let's just summarize that and briefly touch the main differences, but we can summarize it in the following way. Lelantus didn't allow recipient privacy. It didn't allow multi-signature operations. And Lelantus didn't have like this separated hierarchical structure for keys which control the funds. And Lelantus Spark now ensures recipient privacy. It supports multi-signature operations, so funds can be controlled by a quorum of authorized parties. And also it enables the separation of viewing keys and spending keys. So the wallet owner can share particular viewing keys with his accountant or other parties who can track whether some funds are received or not, but simultaneously he can keep full control over his funds without. And these are important like features to make it more complete, like financial system, make it very convenient for users to control their funds and use this as a real financial like system or
In the way of
technology.
the traditional finance.
Yeah,
world
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe like we are still very far from having a full private financial like privacy decentralized payment solution which can be provide the same experience as the regular financial applications to the end users. We are very far from that point.
And then on that note, kind of what other steps, I don't want to wander too far here, but it does bring up a question to me. What other steps do you think are necessary overall or going to be necessary to get to that point?
Okay, great question. And I'm not sure if everybody from this decentralized blockchain world would agree with me. But in my opinion, in order to have a widespread adoption of this blockchain-based payment systems, we need two things. Of course, privacy is super important. Financial privacy is super important, but we should have some kind of auditable privacy, because you see like how the regulation is becoming more like harder and harder to our privacy coins. And no one wants like a financial system out of control, like where you never can see what is happening, like whether it is used for bad things or good things. I think the future of such protocols relies in enabling auditable privacy, which means that people will have financial privacy on ledger, but regulators or some parties will still have some kind of control, or at least um, understanding of what is happening or who is spending. This system should allow some kind of anti-money laundering features, in my opinion. Maybe many people will not agree with this point, because like people who think that we don't need government, we don't need financial systems. But as a cryptographer and just builder who just wants to take the technology to the next level, I believe like in the future of this blockchain based stuff, and I believe the future is kind of more regulated. It will be regulated, and which means we need auditable privacy on chain.
Sure, that makes sense. And then jumping back into, that was a little bit of a tangent there for a moment, but jumping back into Lelantus Spark, the launch, is it the testnet launch, correct? That's what's coming out?
Yeah. We have been launched on our testnet. Oh, I should check, but it should be on testnet already.
Okay.
Yeah. Spark should be on testnet, our testnet already, and yeah, will be launched on mainnet maybe a few months. So we are quite close to that, and that will be just cannot wait for that, because this will really like take Firo to the next level as a financial system. And also we will have part of Sparks, we will have private asset supports on it as well. So basically you will be able to create your own privacy asset on Firo chain, and that's great as well. And the most important thing is all these different assets will kind of all merge together, so when you spend an asset, it will be spent from the same single general anonymity set. You will not have separate anonymity set for different assets, if you get what I mean. So this is important from privacy perspective.
So let me think here. Is there any way that you could, and I don't want to get too kind of high level here into the things that would go far over my head even, but is there any way to explain exactly how the recipient privacy is made possible with Lelantus Spark? Oh
yeah, sure. Like every user on blockchain like has his addresses, right? Like every wallet should has a public addresses, and the sender is using these addresses to generate the coins intended for the recipient, right? In Lelantus, the recipient address was explicit part of the transaction, but in Spark, we are taking the address, but we are kind of blinding it in a smart and cryptographic way to generate the coins intended to be sent to that address, but without having the recipient address explicitly on the transaction. I don't want to go into the math structure, like how we do this, because it would be just tough for me without like blackboard or pen and paper explain the math. But the idea is
understand it anyway.
Sorry.
Oh, I just said I probably wouldn't understand it anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure it makes sense, but I'm happy to answer any reader's question who will went through the paper and will have any questions regarding to the details, happy to answer that. But yeah, the thing is that you take the recipient address and you kind of blind it in your transaction in a mathematical way, so that new coins created to be spent by these address owners are mathematically linked with this address, but they don't reveal any particular information about the address. But only the private, the owner of the private part of this address will be able to spend this coin.
Is this a good time to go ahead and jump in with all these kind of changes happening?
Yeah, I believe absolutely, because like now when we switch to Lelantus Spark, the users will have already totally different experience and financial privacy on chain. And the most important thing is in the future, like I mean in the near future, our roadmap is to switch to full membership proofs, which is basically enhancing the anonymity level, anonymity set size to absolutely new levels, which means that we will be able to provide like very high level of anonymity. It's already high and secure. I believe no particular attack has been either discussed or researched against this level of anonymity so far. But in the future, we will switch to full membership proofs. So basically, the anonymity sets we can reach to billions, which will make it very, very kind of competitive and secure. And maybe it will be very even more competitive from performance point of view, from feature-wise point of view, with Zcash technology as well.
Yeah, I was just
So
about to ask, what size of anonymity set are we looking at here? But
billions.
large. That is huge.
Yeah, large, really large. Yeah.
And then
Up to a few billions. Yeah.
that is crazy. And does that, I mean, are there any kind of, I guess, downsides that come along with a step up like that?
Yeah, this sounds too good to be true, but recently a new technology, a new membership proof technology has appeared called curve trees, which both us and Monero Research Lab is looking at. We are looking for Spark, and of course, Monero Research Lab is looking at this technology for Serapis. Yeah, this is a new ZK method to provide membership proofs with very efficient, again, proof sizes and verification time and proving time. So this is next next level of this membership proofs, which is not surprising that has emerged, because like all many cryptographers are working to optimize this technology, right? So, and we can wait for more advanced technology, more advanced protocols, more efficient protocols, and it will be just drop-in replacement for our membership proofs for the end user. We basically will have the same experience, but for larger anonymity set.
Wow.
So now Firo users, yeah, can have these all features now, and just in the future, like seamlessly, we'll switch to just higher anonymity level.
That's very impressive. And
thank you. Yeah.
From this point on, let's say we're a couple months down the road, Lelantus Spark is fully launched on mainnet. What's the next move? Is there something beyond this point that's already being looked at, worked on, or is the focus still kind of just perfecting that?
I think next thing is again providing financial privacy platform features. So the vision is to not remain only a coin, privacy coin that people can use to transact with each other, but become a privacy platform where anyone else can come and create his own privacy assets, allowing its users to transact over them. Let me give an example. This can have particular use cases in gaming, for example. assuming you have your own like shooter or another game, blockchain-based game, and you want you have like reward tokens in your games, and you want to allow users to transact privately with these tokens. This is where you can just come to Firo, launch it with easily without having to build all this financial infrastructure, and you can allow your users just to interact with each other privately.
So there will be a larger focus on basically making Firo a larger platform to build off of.
Absolutely, yeah.
Interesting. Well, there's a lot of changes coming up. Sounds like all good things. Is there anything else that you'd like to go ahead and shout out while I have you here? Feel free to kind of advertise anything about Firo that you like, or about Lelantus Spark, anything at all. This is the moment.
And actually, nothing to advertise, just tell that I'm very excited with this Spark and the developments, especially after this when these cartridges have come. Like I believe like we can make it the most competitive privacy protocol. Not sure we can make it a standard, but you tell it like Monero, Beam, Firo, all are using privacy payment protocols relying on Lelantus concepts. And I'm excited with this. And with these advanced technologies, we can really make it the best, most convenient, most secure, like financial privacy payment. At least that's the ambition.
Awesome. Well, it's great to hear about all the advancements, I guess, being worked on. I had over a year ago now, I think it was almost a year and a half ago, was when I first really looked into Firo more. And had a little side project given to me to kind of write something up about Firo and the different protocols that it was using, I guess, at the time.
It's what project it was, in university or for your
no
blog post or what?
Work.
Okay.
Work project, yeah. We did not end up doing anything with that, but there was kind of the idea to write some kind of articles to potentially be used, and that was one of them. But I had, originally learned about a lot of this then, and already I'm picking up so much more that was just kind of being talked about then, I guess, but not really being implemented. So, about
maybe
a year and a half later, there's already much more going on since then. It's very cool.
Okay, yeah, maybe it's time to go back to that project, and
maybe so.
If you will decide to finish it, yeah, here to answer any question you will have regarding to Firo or Lelantus Spark or future plans.
Well, it certainly helped me learn a bit about how it works in the first place, but speaking to Ruben and now you as well keeps kind of building on my current understanding of Firo and kind of what makes it so competitive. So I'll ask you what I ask everyone, of course, when we're kind of winding things down, and that is there anywhere you're active online, social media, blogs, anything like that you'd like to shout out and have us make sure and include in the description so people can follow you and your work?
I'm not very active on social networks, honestly, but I still have a Twitter handle. So.
And what is your Twitter handle?
It's just Aram Jivanyan, ARAM.
Just the way it's spelled on screen?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, that's very easy then. I'll make sure and include that in case anyone wants to keep an eye on what you're throwing out there. But gosh, thank you so much for coming on and spending some time. I know it's kind of in the evening for you, so I'm sure you have some winding down and other things to do, but I appreciate your time. And
it was my pleasure, and thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to see how Firo grows after everything's launched on mainnet, and it'll be exciting to continue to watch. All right. Well, Aram, thank you so much. I'll let you get back to your evening, and I will see you guys on the next. Wow! And I'll see you guys on the next episode for StackCast episode 14. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.